Hello, Ihlamur here, and I am coming to you with my first Focus on the Pioneers video. For those of you who have been watching my channel for a while, you know our Focus on the Settlers videos, where we focused on each individual piece and looked really at the details and how we could use them to our best advantage. Doing the same thing here with Pioneers of Pagonia, my new favourite game. And coming up on the screens now, you'll see all my findings for the well worker, who is the worker we're going to be focusing on today. But I'm going to show you how I discovered these things, and I'll put that slide up, that card up at the end of the video where you can easily find it. So here's how you go about it. You find it in the food products menu. It's the 6th one along, and you find a piece of ground that's suitable. It's a small building, so it's just one unit of the terrain. Speaking of terrain, there are only 5 types that you can build on: grassland, mossy, lakeside, woodland, and fertile terrain types. You can't build, for example, on stony or dusty or sandy grass, just one of those 5. But once you do, if you pick a really flat piece of land like I've done right now, you won't need a digger. But if you just choose a regular piece of land that does need flattening, one digger, maximum of 1 digger, will come out to flatten that. It'll take 2 rope and 8 stone to build this well, and so if the diggers come first, the carriers will bring those resources and you'll save a bit of time, but otherwise your builders will come and they'll wait for those resources. They'll start as soon as they have one of them. It will take 2 builders, and as you can see, we've got our 2 builders coming in now, and once their materials arrive, which are arriving right now, it will take 100 seconds or 1 minute and 40 seconds for them to build this building. How do I know? Well, because I tested multiple times, and it does come out to just about 100 seconds, give or take a second. Once the well is finished, a carrier somewhere in the world will be selected to become a well worker. They'll put on their little hat and they will make their way to the well. I've decided to call this well worker Wendy the well worker, and she doesn't require any tool to become a well worker, so a carrier anywhere in the world can be selected and will just instantly become a well worker. They don't have to go anywhere or do anything. Now, there are 2 interesting things about Wendy and her well. The first is that the well appears to work entirely on love. All she does is kind of stroke the well and tell it to do, I guess, well, and it does. It sends the bucket down. She never touches the handle or has to winch anything, so well that works on wishes, perhaps. The second thing is that the model of Wendy has its own animation speed. It doesn't line up with the animation of the well, so sometimes they get out of sync. The bucket goes down about twice for every bucket that Wendy gets, but actually the animation of the well doesn't tell you how long it's going to take you to get buckets. It's actually Wendy's animation that tells you that, and they're not the same amount of time. Again, I observed the game running on all 5 different terrain types just to see how long it took and if it made any difference as to what terrain type it was on, as to how much water you would get or how quickly it would happen. It doesn't. There's no difference. You can put your well anywhere as long as you can put it there, and it's just going to produce 1 bucket of water for every 27 seconds, and then water will continue to collect until you have 16 buckets of water, and then it will stop unless the water's going somewhere else, of course. So 27 seconds no matter what terrain type it's on. So once your well has finished producing 16 buckets, that storage will be full, and unless another building needs it, it will stay there and the worker will stop working. But actually there's a lot of places that do need this water. For example, the bakery will need it to bake bread. Your crop farms, your vegetable farms and crop farm will need water to stop the wheat from dying, like this wheat has unfortunately done. Didn't get the water in fast enough, apparently. The other building that needs it is the forester, in order to plant trees. But to be honest, the building is so small, takes up so few resources, only needs 1 worker. I would recommend putting them anywhere next to the buildings that need them, at least until I do the analysis to find out exactly how many is the perfect amount for every economy. I hope you've enjoyed this first Focus on the Pioneers video. We'll be looking at the other buildings in turn, but until then, have a lovely day, and I'll leave you with this infographic to learn more about the well worker.